All right, guys. So, a real quick update on Tonix Pharmaceuticals. It is trading, or it was trading at $20 a share as of the close on Friday. So, we're going into Monday. And as you can see here, it's about 5 a.m. right now. And if you look at the last traded price, $20 was on Friday the close. But if you look at the bid and the ask right now, we're at 1955 and 1982, which basically means we're looking at a stock which is trending downward in the pre-market. But with that being said, if we look at the previous trend for the last month, for example, we are up 12%. And why is that? Keep in mind, this is the equivalent after the reverse split of it's 100 for 1, right? Or 1 for 100 with a reverse split. So basically, for every one share you owned, you would give up 100 shares. So if you owned 10,000 shares, you'd end up with 100, which sucks because the price goes from 20 cents to $20 overnight, and you lose most of your position. But that's how a reverse split works in the stock market. And what's happening now with Tonix Pharmaceuticals, especially around 5 a.m. here, is that we're trending downward at $19.55, which is the equivalent of about 0.195 or 19.5 cents per share. So with that being said, if we keep on looking at the news here, Tonix Pharmaceuticals announces oral presentation and panel participation at the World Vaccine Congress, Washington 2025. Now, if we look at the due date of this, it's supposed to be the World Vaccine Congress, Washington 2025, scheduled for April 22nd through the 24th, which already happened, right? So we are actually in the phase of this. The company will deliver an oral presentation on their novel single-dose Mpox vaccine and lead a panel discussion on Mpox and smallpox threats, which, if we look at the news and actually what happened here, it looks like gastric cancer model research, So, this is more news coming out here, basically. But it looks like presented data and a poster presentation at the American Association for Cancer Research annual meeting, Chicago, Illinois, and it has the scientific presentations. Tonix Pharma presentation titled TFF2 CXCR4 partial agonism outperforms CXCR4 antagonism and reducing murine gastric cancer by suppressing PMN MDSC generation. So I encourage you to read into this. I can leave this in the description. But this is all news that's been coming out for Tonix Pharmaceuticals. Now, on top of that, of course, we have the TNX-102 SL, the actual big one that we're talking about here. So TNX-102 SL fibromyalgia, and this is the big drug that's coming out August 15th. That's the date. Okay, so watch that date. When this comes out, this could be big for the stock because we're already basically trading at the prices that I said we were trading at back in October, which we were. Under 20 cents a share before we had that huge parabolic spike, basically a 10x within less than a couple weeks. And we were able to make that happen very quickly. But with that being said, obviously this stuff is risky, so keep that in mind with penny stocks and all this kind of stuff. But if we're looking at August 15th, that's the goal date for TNX-102 SL. Keep an eye on this day because when this goal gets pushed or pushed through, let's say, by the FDA, they can start selling, marketing, and distributing the drug, and they can start making a lot of money, basically. So that's the goal for TNXP. We have to get this approved on that August 15th day or sooner. And, if we're looking at that date, it's only, June, July, August, 90 days away. So we're at 20 cents a share, the equivalent before the reverse split, $20 a share right now. So if we look at right here, I don't know. There's different comments. You can come over here to Investor. So, for example, it's a website. There's also stock twits and different websites. You can see different people talking about it. I remember when I bought Tonix initially, the comments were nonstop. People were just talking about this stock, 100% of the time. So that was a sign to me that it may be time to, take a look at this because it was consolidating. It was trending downward. And then it had this huge spike up afterwards. It was basically like I said, a 10x within a very short period of time. I was able to take some profits from that, so it was a nice trade there. But with that being said, it was very short-lived, right? So there's different comments. I don't know why this is not loading on my screen here. once again, guys, this is just an early morning Tonix Pharmaceuticals update. We're trending downward in the pre-market as of the last update. So TNXP stock is trending down to $19.55. That's what we're showing right now. If we look at, it's confirming right here, $19.55. So here's the latest comments, the latest news. You can check it out. 7.4 million shares outstanding is what people are showing. So if we take the actual market cap of 7.4 million shares outstanding, like that's what somebody was saying, I'm showing 7.47 million shares outstanding on my Schwab account. So if that is correct, if we take that share structure times, let's just call it $20. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry, what was that? Let's see here. 7.47, right? Million. I don't even know how that happened. 7,000,047. So let's see here. 149 million, is that? Yeah, $149 million market cap. So basically we're looking at $150 million market cap, and that is with 7.47 million shares outstanding. So at $20 a share. Now, if we take the current price trending downward, let's say you wanted to sell a large position of this company, you're a big block holder of TNXP, you've been holding for a while, $145 million market cap at $19.50. How much of the company do you own? Do you own 1% of the company? Are you selling 1% of the company? Are you collecting how much? 1.45 million if you're going to sell a block trade like that, right? So that's at $19.50 in the pre-market. So that's what we're looking at here with TNXP. Now, could this go up to $100 a share? I think so. Now, if you look at the gaps on, let's, for example, TradingView real quick, TNXP, there's still a lot of gaps in the chart that we've talked about. And these gaps go way back, several months, even years in the past. And if we look at where this stock is traded with all the reverse splits and all the uncertainty that this stock has seen, this stock could absolutely go parabolic in a very short period of time once again. And as you can see, it's just had multiple gaps right there. But if we go even further, you can see this gap got filled all the way up to, the equivalent of $1.30 per share before the split, $1.36 before the split, and then went all the way up to these crazy price targets. It just kept on going up and up and up and up. I don't even know where this chart goes at this point. So the point is there's multiple gaps, and bear with me, it is early in the morning, so I need to get some coffee in me here. But there's a gap, right? So right there, from 312, or the equivalent of $3.12, all the way down to the equivalent before the split of $2.60. So now it's $264. So can we see those prices again be the equivalent of the stock going from 20 cents to $2 or $3 a share pre-split? Could that happen again? Absolutely. I don't see why not. If this gets approved, we got pretty close to that. It hit like $1.90 pre-split last time. I was part of that run when that happened. And it was a good trade. But you just have to keep an eye on the news. And, August 15th, like I said, is that big goal date. And so we'll see what happens. But with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in. Looks like 7.47 million shares outstanding for Tonix Pharmaceuticals. And you can verify this with different sources as well. I like to actually look at, if you look at OTC markets, for example, real quick, type in TNXP, the ticker symbol, and you can find the security details. Now, it'll tell you, on here it says 6.4 million shares outstanding. So which one is more accurate, right? Because Schwab is saying 7.47. This is saying 6.43. So if we're taking the market cap of that and we're saying let's just say 6.43 million times $20 a share, $128 million market cap, or $19.50, $125 million market cap. So that differential, that 50-cent differential between the close and what the trading price now is, $3 million right there. So you're already paying a discount in the pre-market if you're going to place a trade like that, depending on how much you're selling, obviously. But, that's for somebody who's, been able to accumulate a large position in this stock, obviously. And, I have not been one of those people. But there are people who've been holding this stock for a long time. So let me know if you're one of those people. I'm curious if you're an individual. I've seen people posting they had $500,000 pre-split into this. And I'm curious how you've turned out, if you're still in this, or if anybody out there is holding a large position of TNXP stock. Let me know. Keep in mind, penny stocks are risky, guys. Always keep that in mind. And so it's not really a penny stock anymore. It was. But, if we're looking at this from like the perspective of where this could go, just keep in mind that this could get volatile. This very well could be very catastrophic psychologically for investors, for some people who don't handle volatility well. So with that being said, as you can see, the chart is not looking very well. Over the last year, down 97%. Can it make a rebound? Find out and come back August 15th is the day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.